Muslims, every last one of you are that.
That's right.
You're Muslim by nature, you're other than that by circumstance.
That's right.
And we prove that within no limit of time. We thank Allah for His coming and intervening in our affairs in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and raising up the baddest black man that ever walked the face of the earth, other than God Himself. His messenger, Messiah, and exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank them today for the one that sits in His seat. Allah God, so merciful. He gave us two twin halves of a single essence. One was the honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the twin half is without question the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Today we are taking on a subject titled "The Three Sciences Never Taught to the Slaves."
Come on with that.
Some people say, why should we even be talking about slavery?
Right.
That was then.
Listen now.
Y'all know, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And this is now. Yes, sir. Why come we can't just let bygones be what? The same people that propagate that are open enemy. Never allow the past to be the past, or bygones to be bygones, and they never say that was then and this is now when it comes to the brothers that have felonies on their record.
That's right.
If you are willing to consider the history of a person that served time for their crime, and according to your language, paid their debt back to society, if you're not willing to let a bygone be a bygone, let the past be the past, and say that was then and this is now for our brothers who went into the institution and met Islam. Whether it was Sunni, whether it was Al-Islam, whether it was more science, or whether it was a nation, they met Islam. They were redeemed and changed from being a drug dealer, a drug user, a liar, a thief, or a murderer. Change and you still hold them accountable. What moral right do we have to hold you accountable when you have not changed? Nothing that you have done to us. So slavery is something that is the root subject. It is the genesis to the hell that black people are catching. It is the root and the cause of all of the problems, almost 100% in the black community today. They have studied the social scientists, the black psyche, and the social scientists have concluded that the decision-making process of black people in America is 94% of all their decisions is born out of their plantation life. And only 6% of the decisions black people make today are born out of their God-centered African culture. That means that most of the things that we do are coming from what we were taught on a plantation. Not what we learned before we ever were kidnapped and made slaves. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us, and for all of our guests that are here today, from here on out, throughout the rest of the day's lecture, anytime you hear me say the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches, then your spiritual antenna should rise in your mind. And you should move to the edge of your seat with your mind geared and tuned in to the best of its ability to hear whatever statement follows them. For when we say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has caused us to see and understand, it is as equal to saying that Surah 9 verse 5 or Matthew 12 verse 21, what came out of the mouth and mind of Farrakhan, and what comes out of the mind and mouth of the messenger yesterday is as much the word of Allah as Bible and Holy Ghost. Do you really understand? So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us. But as it goes on, we get a little better. He teaches us that 90% of our problems come from slavery. That's 9/10. That means that for every 10 problems that you can list
Come on now.
in your life, in your family's life, in black people's life, 9 of them are not from God, not from our own created culture, but are born out of what we were bred into on the plantation for the 400 years of our sojourn here in the hills of North America. That means if the problems don't come from our own thinking, somebody has put another mind in us.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And whenever you and I have a different mind, or any mind, our mind is a magnet and a magnifying glass. Meaning that it attracts to itself the nature of itself. That's the magnet side. But the magnifying glass, it doesn't mean that it attracts a nature of an idea to itself. It just makes it bigger on the screen of your mind. But the magnification means that it turns whatever you think into a reality one day. Did you hear it? So when John was talking about the process by which things are brought into existence, he said in the beginning was the Word. Didn't he say that? And the Word was with God. The Word was God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. He's given us a process by which something that is nothing more than thought and sound married together becomes a material reality that impacts and affects and makes a society to look just like what somebody thought and spoke. So when the mathematics was being used in language to consider the power of words, there was nothing in the language powerful enough as a synonym to say that word is a dog, word is a man, a word is the sun. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Meaning that God was the only synonym that was a proper description of the power words have. So if in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and that Word becomes flesh and dwells among men, then the mind becomes a magnifying glass. It takes whatever you think, marries it with sound, speaks it as a word, and the words begin to bring into physical reality whatever you spiritually conceive in your mind. So when you look at black people today, we were given the mind of a slave, but we were born with the mind of God. We were given the mind of a Negro, but we were born with the mind of a king. We got hit in the head. Is that right? Left for dead, we suffered amnesia. And we woke up, we didn't know what mind to choose from, so somebody gave us a mind. Well, scientifically, our mind becomes the root of our problem.
That's the truth.
Meaning that our thoughts is the origin of all of our realities. You cannot have negative thoughts and have a positive life.
That's right. That's right.
Anything that you wish to achieve in the physical world, we have to first think it in our mind.
That's right.
Whatever you can believe,
Come on.
you can what? Achieve. But if you don't have enough wherewithal, enough self-confidence, enough belief in God to actually put something in your mind as an image and see it in 3D and in living color and see it so well that you actually can feel that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Then he put his mind into our mind. Slavery was a business.
That's right.
In fact,